I was very young. We were the whole family. So for me, in one house, it was like I say, my dad. Uh, when he got everyone over to this family, then we moved to another house. And even in that house, there still was my whole like chacha both my chachas lived with us. My chachi did, my bua did. So it was like a very full house. My daddy did, my mum, dad. So it was very a full house, which was always amazing. I loved that fact, and I count myself very blessed to have had that childhood where I had my whole family around me. I'm very blessed to have had that. And then obviously, but in those days, it was also a case of not, then all the rest of the family would always come to the house. So, and in those days, people just used to pop in at any time. So in those days, it was like a literally open house, and you never knew when people were going to turn up. That was the thing as well. So like for me as a young child, I always had that where people just used to come to our house, and then my mum, whether she was prepared for it or not, she would start cooking. She would like start making pakoras, or like with tea, with the jar would come out. Like everything was always done. And even otherwise, when my mum and dad were expecting company, my mum and dad have been, like, I would say, if you talk about the hospitality industry, my mum and dad they have always entertained. They have always been those people who like to go out, but they have always been those people who, when they entertain, there is always, and always has been, a lot and too much than anyone needs. You know how many people are coming, but they always had extra, always had more. There was never anything to be less. And I've definitely got that in me now, where even if I'm doing something small, there's always too much food, and I always go over the top, and I know there's too much, but they've instilled in me it's better to have more than less. And always that you, even as the host, would go without. Say for example there was something missing, but you would go without as the host for your guest's sake. And I think that has definitely stayed with me, and it will stay with me as part of, even with the retreats. Yes, it's the hospitality industry, and I guess I couldn't have learned from two better people about hospitality, because my parents have literally been entertaining for as long as I know, from when I was a child. So that's always been a thing. Always. Wasn't prepared at all. Wasn't prepared. My mum actually had a hysterectomy in her 40s, so she didn't have any menopausal issues. She didn't have any anything to talk of, or like, compare against, because she was on HRT then at the time. So she didn't have any issues. I was completely unprepared. And half of the symptoms, I think the thing with that is you don't even know that they're menopause, because there are so many different symptoms, and there are so many different things that every woman is different. Every woman suffers menopause differently. So at the beginning, I just thought, oh, I've got a pain in my shoulder. That's probably because I don't know, I'm getting old, or like there was a point where I found it really difficult to go upstairs, and I remember going out with some friends, and I had to hold the handrail to go up. They were already up the stairs, but I was like, oh, I couldn't understand what was happening to me. And this was, again, this in your 40s, and you don't realize, I think you don't expect it to happen so soon, but apparently it does happen earlier in South Asian women. So we don't expect it. We don't expect it to come that early, and we don't put two and two together with the signs of, okay, this is menopause or this is something else, because we don't know. No one was told this. I mean, no one really talks about it. I think especially in our community, nobody talks about it. Women are just those ones who do it and they get on with it. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter how much you hurt. It doesn't matter if you're in a bad mood. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter but you just carry on. and they've always been like that. So like, say for example, even with grandmothers, like my mum says she doesn't remember her going through menopause. It just wasn't ever mentioned, and it was never something that was talked about, or they never even uh like, it's not about complained about it, but it's like they never said like, oh, I feel this or I feel that. There was nothing in I don't know whether times have changed in the fact of that we feel more these days because of maybe I think could be even because of diet these days, the way everything is processed food. And in our grandparents' day, it wasn't like that. Maybe those things have changed, and maybe that's something that really should be kind of looked at with food and stuff like that. And maybe that is why we are suffering more in the Western world now with our diets, because those women, they just never seemed to feel it, never talked about it. Even though, even like I said, my mum didn't, but none of my aunts really spoke about it. And that's the thing. I think now it's spoken about a lot more, but it took us to get to this stage to actually start figuring out that what what is this, like, if you've got itchy ears, apparently that's a symptom of menopause. I never knew that, like, and it's so many different things that you would never think was menopause is menopause. So it's very difficult to have that distinction. It's a very difficult point where you get to a point where you don't actually like yourself, because you can see your behavior, you can see your patterns. The mood swings, I would say, would cause this more than anything else, and how it affects your family. That's when afterwards, like at the time, you can't help it. Every woman who's going through this will know at the time you can't help it. You might, you're going to get angry, you're going to snap back at people, you're going to you lose it. Afterwards, it's the afterwards when you like go to sleep at night or can't sleep at night, and you're thinking about what's happened in the day, and you're thinking that actually you start to feel guilty for it. And that's when you don't recognize yourself, because you feel like you're a different person, because you don't know what's happening to you and you don't know what's happening to your body. And that's when you actually think, I don't want to be that person, but you can't also help it. So it's a very difficult thin line, because you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting everybody who is around you as well. That's very hard. I see myself as, I think I'm starting a new chapter or a new season. I see this season as like a lot of people see it as, oh, you're changing, your life is you're nearly finished. You're getting old now. You should start, like, I don't see it that way. I actually see it as, this is my time now to do something for me, for myself, to actually prove to myself that I can do it. I never had a career for lots I health reasons. That's a really long story, but I won't go into that. So I didn't build a career. Life had made a pace for me, but now I want to help other women and myself choose the pace of life. And I just see it as a new season of, it's not finished, it's starting. It's like a new springtime, I would say. So like, we're in spring now, so for me it's like spring. I'm not finished yet. In fact, I'm just getting started, and I'm glad that I have. And it does make me feel that I want to leave something that I can be proud of, for sure. I think they are, especially at the moment, they are really, really craving just peace. I can say it from personal. I would love to be able to, and I think this is what I want other women to be able to, is to just put your shoulders down without having them up by your ears all the time, because I feel that is where they are for me. I don't know about it's the stress of day-to-day life that makes your shoulders be up here. And I think just want women to be able to lower them and just relax and actually feel that pressure come off, your shoulders and just feel like you are 100% relaxed, and you don't have to worry about checking your emails or doing the dinner or picking up this, like, if you've still got younger children, picking them up from school, or even with older children, it's still, you have a responsibility in every area of your life, just to, for those few days, to let go of any responsibility and just leave it there and just be themselves, which is what I would really, really like. And to take some time out for yourself. Everybody gives to everybody else. Just take some time out for yourself. That's the thing. Now, that's something that's very difficult for women to do, especially in our culture, because I also feel like a lot of people get judged. Like, say, for example, you want to go away and you want to have this retreat, but then there's a lot of people in the background who are going to be looking at those people and saying, oh, but this, or but that. I don't know, somebody's husband might be like, oh yeah, but who's going who's going to make my dinner, or like the kids will be like, yeah, but I need this or I need that. It's so like, exactly that. It's, you have to give yourself the permission, because nobody else is going to. Basically, they're not going to give you permission. So that can be difficult, but that's where, once, I think, and a lot more women are the ones I speak to, have given themselves that permission to be like, well, actually, I do need some time for just to relax, and just like, yeah, I do this for you, and I do that for so and so, and I do that. I think we're very much a people pleasing society in general, because we worry about what people are going to say, what people are going to think. So we are very much a people pleasing society. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. That just means we're nice people. But I think also sometimes, like now at this stage of life, I do really think that people should be, like I said, it's a new season, and those women who are the glue for the family, just give themselves a little bit of time to get unstuck. That's just like, yeah. In the wellness industry, I can honestly say I don't think there's a gap when it comes to that wellness aspect. Again, it depends what you call wellness. For me, it was, again, not the point of, I refer to wellness as having time where you relax, where you have time for yourself, where you can take time to do those things you wouldn't do otherwise. That, for me, at this stage of life for a woman, is wellness. So it's not heavily, and I didn't want heavily restricted schedules. Like, there's no like getting up at 5 a.m. for yoga. There's none of that. It is purely just take your time. There's slow mornings. Take your time with whatever you're doing. The purpose of these is, the wellness aspect is just purely relaxation and a reset, and reconnecting with other women who are going through the same thing as you, to connect with those women on a very sort of small level. But you've also, so for me, the wellness aspect was, there's, trust me, there's no gap in the wellness. It is literally saturated. But what I found was, what I couldn't find was a retreat that I would go on, for the simple fact that you can't that, like the 5 a.m. yoga, or you have to be there at this time, or this is scheduled for this time, and then that's scheduled for that time. There's none of that here. And also, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but I wanted to sit with a glass of wine. So I was like, well, you know what? There needs to be a retreat where, yes, you have the wellness aspect. I do have the spas, I do have the yoga, but it's when you want it. And also to be able to sit in the evening with a glass of wine. Again, it is really about conversation about what they're doing in life, where they're at in life, how they're feeling right now in this stage of life. Some Are you feeling like what I said, like some people say, oh, we're just finished, or are you just getting started? That everyone has, and also everyone's perimenopause and menopause journeys are different. Each body feels different. So for people to open up about their journeys with menopause, and again, that's if they want to. Nobody is again pressured into having to stand up to like talk in front of anybody or anything like that. This is just while we're talking around dinner as a group of women, if you want to share your journey of life in general, not just even about perimenopause or menopause, but just a life journey that you want to share with other women who are at that stage of life, is what the conversation I believe will be. So that's where they would connect with each other, because I'm sure there's so many stories that they'll have. Everyone's got a life story to tell, and everybody's story is interesting, and that's what's fascinating about listening to those stories. I would say go for it. I would say go for it. Do something for yourself. It doesn't even matter if it's small. There's so many different things that you can do right now, and these days there are, in fact, I've got like even like a WhatsApp group that I did started the other day for journaling. So just for women to be able to take that time, again, that's free. You can just hop onto there. What I did was put some journaling prompts in. Take 10 minutes to when, and that was also, again, that was also not set a set time. I put the prompts in the WhatsApp chat so that anyone could do them whenever they want to do it, whenever they have time. So it was a case of that. Again, it's just all you need is a notebook. You just need a notebook. And I told everyone to sit with whatever drink they want, a glass of wine, a tea, coffee, whatever it is, sit with a drink and just write whatever those prompts I've given you are. Just from that prompt, like it was about the quarter that the year that's been already, how you feel about what you've done in the quarter just past and what you would like to do in the quarter coming. So there can be lots of different things that women can do. There's so many meditation things that you can listen to on all these podcasts and everything like that as well. There's so many on YouTube like that are just like 10-15 minutes long. You don't need a lot. I would really say to everyone, take, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, give yourself 10 minutes. That's it. That's right. Just 8. The reason I'm keeping it small, and I will keep them small as well for the future, is because of that exact reason I was just saying a minute ago of the connecting. I want women to connect. If there's too many, nobody gets heard, and then that story is missed, or somebody else's story is missed. I want women to be heard so that their story is heard. If they want to talk, they can tell their story and other women will listen. They will be heard. Those women will then become friends and build a connection that hopefully will last for the rest of their lives. That's why it's small. That's why it's intimate. With a bigger group, you lose that sense of just that intimacy of women becoming and making that connection with each other. So that's really important to me. I want women to be heard because everybody has a story to tell, and the reason for them coming is because they want to tell it. I think exactly that. The fact that there is no schedule, is no rigidness. The point of it is, the difference is relaxation, complete pure relaxation there, and that connection with others. I think when other retreats there are so many people on there are so many things that they fit into a day, and it's like, oh my god, but you have to go from one place to another place to another place, and it's like, okay, all right, I can't fit all, I don't want to fit all that in, because by the time you've come home you're even more tired than when you went. So it's just a case of exactly that, just being able to just ease off the gas completely and just be yourself. That's the main thing.